What is up, everybody? Here to talk about today's Wednesday episode of Beyond the Gates, July 30th, 2025. And it definitely felt like a Wednesday episode, aka kind of a filler. I felt like all of today's episode was kind of just like a pregame, a warm up for like the Articulates concert that's probably going to happen in the next episode or two. And today's episode kind of dealt with people not wanting to go because of all the family drama that's been happening, and some people in the Dupree family finding out some information they didn't quite know yet. But yes, Anita and Tracy and Sharon getting ready for their Articulates reunion concert, and Anita was feeling nervous out with Vernon, and then Chelsea showed up to the house looking for Anita, but only Tracy and Sharon were there. So, apparently Sharon follows Chelsea very closely on Instagram, and they got some good performance and fashion ideas for the concert. A last minute fashion change that Anita later liked. Um, the main thing that happened with Anita and them was when Anita comes back to Sharon and Tracy, talking about how Jim Price, the person who set up this reunion concert, wants Anita to have one solo song during the concert. Now, Anita alleges that she said no, but that they vote on things. So she's brought that up to Sharon and Tracy to vote on it. And to me, it felt like typical Anita being selfish, being kind of fake, like I always call her, because this felt like she was setting them up to be like, hey, look, I said no, so, but what do you guys think? It made me think like Anita actually wants to do this solo song at the concert, and now she's putting it on them, which I think Sharon should feel some type of way, like she usually does with Anita's fakeness like this. But we'll see if this leads to another argument between them. I kind of hope not. I'm ready to get past this storyline in general and just get past the redundancy of the Articulates fighting. But per usual, to me, this was Anita being her fake, selfish self. Um, I That's how I've always felt about the character, and I don't know if the show writes it that way on purpose, but they have to. They have to make us want to feel some type of way about how Anita is always selfish first. And seeing as other characters feel like that about her, like Sharon, that has to be what they're going for, I assume. Now, Dani found out some information today that she didn't know about Bill, that Naomi told her that Bill might have been involved or was involved with the dead guy at the park. And of course, Dani is upset that she wasn't informed. Naomi saying she was only informed because she's married to Jacob, who's a cop who might investigate the death. Now, if Naomi knows her husband, she should know that Jacob's not very good at figuring out cases, so she shouldn't be worried at all. But I guess it was good that she told her mother this. I don't know if this is going to lead to some sort of Dani and Bill future scene, another confrontation between those two. But we'll see. I mean, knowing Dani, she probably will be pretty dramatic about that whenever her and Bill do talk about that. Now, another person that didn't really want to go to the Articulettes concert was Smitty, seeing as he and Martin had that big fight and he kicked Martin out finally. But Tyrell is trying to talk one of his fathers into going to the concert tonight, not for Martin necessarily, but for Anita, since it is Anita's big night. Now, Tyrell's saying he also feels some kind of way about what Martin did and all the lies, but he's going to the concert for Anita, and he thinks Smitty should as well. I was glad to see Smitty being stubborn about this. I complained for months on this show that Smitty didn't have a backbone where Martin was concerned. So, for now, Smitty has been standing on business with this problem with Martin all the lies or the lack of truth of Martin telling Smitty the truth. So at least I can say it's good to see Smitty standing on business. And I'm kind of glad he wasn't being the bigger man for once, even though I felt like Tyrell was trying to talk him into that. Now, when Smitty drops Tyrell off to Vernon, Vernon tells Smitty that he knows they're overdue for some important conversations. And they are. I think Smitty should feel some kind of way about Vernon being the main person kind of making Martin keep all of this a secret. So, yes, Smitty and Vernon are overdue for a conversation. I want to see how Smitty handles that, because Vernon's very good at being a big part of the problem, but talking his way out of it like he's not. So will Smitty actually hold Vernon's feet to the fire? I guess we'll find out. I'm assuming Smitty's going to go to the concert, and I'm assuming Martin's going to go to the concert as well, but Martin's another one not wanting to go to the concert because of all the problems, because of his the problems with the politics, because of that news conference he called off and all of that. His mother, Nicole, was kind of being his therapist today to talk about his problems with Smitty and Smitty kicking him out of the house. And I guess you can say that Martin was being responsible for his actions in that conversation with his mother, in talking about that this is not just a one-time problem, that Smitty's problem is years of lies. So Martin at least recognizes the major problem in his marriage with Smitty. Nicole was trying to talk him through that. Nicole was also trying to help him with his lack of sleep and insomnia. But of course, before she could do the breathing exercises with her son, in comes her sister being loud and interrupting the calm, safe space that Nicole was trying to have for Martin. Nicole was another one who wasn't going to go to the concert. And I liked that Dani called Nicole out for rebelling now, since she never did as a teenager with their parents. I'm assuming by the end of the episode that we saw Dani talk Nicole into going, but I think that Martin will probably end up going as well. And then another interesting piece of the story is Kat, because Kat was with Samantha and Kat hasn't been told anything. So it's not until this conversation with Samantha where they're trying to come up with ideas for a vlog for Samantha to be with the purses that Kat and Chelsea are selling, that Samantha tells Kat that Martin and Smitty split and had a big fight and looked like they split. Kat's of course shocked that nobody told her. She's feeling selfish herself because she's been so involved with her overdramatics with Leslie and with the whole stuff with Tomas, so she feels responsible, like she's been too busy to recognize that her brother's going through a bigger issue than she is. But the truth is, I wonder where they're going with Kat not being told the truth here, because for all the crying and the whining that Nicole has done, that, you know, she's rightfully upset that the family didn't tell her the truth about her own son, Martin, and all that happened there. And yet she hasn't told her daughter anything about this, what's happening with her own brother. So maybe Kat will be someone that gets through to Nicole when Nicole realizes she's keeping her daughter in the dark, much like she's been kept in the dark this whole time. So that was kind of this episode in a nutshell. Nothing majorly important was taking place today. Like I said, it was kind of filler. I feel like it was kind of just a setup episode for the next couple of episodes. With the concert, I don't know what will happen with the whole solo thing that Anita wants to do, if it will lead to another argument. I'm just wondering where they go from here with the Articulettes, because it's been redundant with them fighting before the concert. I have to imagine the next part of the story is the old manager, Dante Green, comes back to kind of stoke all their problems together again. But that could be redundant too if it's just going to be the Articulates fighting. So if Dante does show up during the concert or after the concert, I hope they have a bigger plan than just the Articulates always fighting about the same shit all the time. But we'll see.